So I know we already talked about obsession back to back, or at least myself and MJ, but today I have somebody new, somebody that I've referred to on multiple different episodes and who shares the same passion as I do whenever it comes to horror movies. Ashley, welcome.
Yes. Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I
I
love
am
horror
too.
movies and I'm ready to dive into it.
I know. I think what you and I met at work and we bonded over our love of horror, and this is one of those like
Yes.
friendships that transcended just like coworkers
No,
liking each other.
literally. It was nice finally meeting someone who shares the same love of like creepy, weird stuff as me.
I know. It was so comforting too. Because I
I
always
know.
feel like people found these relationships. Of course, they'd be posting about it online and whatnot. And then, I mean, where we worked at wasn't necessarily the best, but I know the bond that we shared definitely pushed us through
We're
some
trauma
like
bonded for
trauma.
life.
Yeah. Yes. um, but without further ado, I think you were actually one of the first people who harped on about this movie, Obsession. And I've been dying to sit down and finally talk to you about all the details. So I figured, why not? And share the discussions that you and I have with the rest of the public.
Yes. I'm so excited to talk about it. It's literally, I mean, honestly, one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Yeah.
And I think I texted you pretty much right after, the day after I saw it, because I was like, oh my God, you need to see this. Like, this is the craziest movie ever.
I know. You always do a good job of like explaining it. I think you definitely told me how well movie the like how well made the movie was, and then
Yeah.
just like the overall conversations that you had after the fact. So um it definitely built up my hype. I think it was a tie between you and my sister. You both let me know. I was surprised about my younger sister. With you, definitely wasn't. I know your taste in horror is very similar to mine. So
Yeah.
um I know whenever I finally watched it, I understood the hype. I definitely understood the
Yes.
hype.
I mean, the cinematography and everything, like right off the bat, you just know you're in for a good movie. That's how good it is, which is kind of
Mhm.
crazy for horror, especially right now.
Yes, because horror's pretty much been taking over a good portion of Hollywood, in my opinion, whenever it comes to movies, like well-written scripts, cultural movements, even to a certain degree. And to be able to make a mark this big with such a small budget is insane.
It is crazy. And I've been seeing, I know I don't live in California anymore, but I've been
Mm-hmm.
seeing so many coffee shops doing,
Yep.
themed drinks after this movie. And I've seen merchandise and it's just like taken off into its own thing. It's got its own fan base and it's really awesome to see. I love seeing that, especially for a smaller budget kind of horror movie.
Exactly. If I'm not mistaken, the film itself was able to hit major theaters because it won some sort of award for like an indie movie festival, if I'm not wrong, right?
I think so. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. It's the Toronto International Film Festival. So it seems like
Wow.
they won the award, and similar to Hereditary, where they there was a festival in California, I should say,
Mhm.
where they won the festival too, and they debuted. And I mean, Ari Aster has already made a name for himself after that movie and on. So Curry Barker definitely like has made a name for himself too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does next. I think he has a really big career. Maybe
Mhm.
even if he doesn't continue in horror, like his directing skills and just the entire movie overall, I think I'm really excited to see what he can do.
Yes, for sure. I think there's already whispers about him creating another movie. I don't know if you heard about this. It's supposed to star, I forget the gentleman's or the actor's name, I should say, but he's the actor for Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. Him
No.
and another major actor are getting together to do another movie with Curry Barker, and it's supposed to be about fake ghost hunters who finally come across a haunting and how they deal with it.
Are you serious? Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I'm dead serious. It like the creators, because they're supposedly YouTube creators are like an online entertainment source. They're notoriously known for pranking other people that they take for quote unquote hauntings. But this one time, it's real, and they genuinely don't know how to react to it, and they're asking for help. And because their audience is so used to the pranks, they're not getting it. So therein lies the question, how do they get out?
That sounds literally incredible. I love that.
I'm thoroughly excited. I don't know if you know too much about Curry Barker. I know MJ has told me a decent amount of like his background and his coming up, but I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on like his execution of the film, the lore behind the film, if you knew it, and then also just anything that essentially got you obsessed with Obsession as well, for lack of better words.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly didn't really know much about him before Obsession. I think I had seen, because I know now that he's a YouTuber, right? And I think I had seen some of his like reels on TikTok. But I was never like a fan of his work necessarily just because I didn't know of him.
Right.
And then when Obsession came out, I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks really good. Like, this looks like something completely different from all the other horror movies I've been seeing lately. And I just was instantly like, yes, I need to go see that when it premieres. And I think I actually did see it. I want to say the day after it premiered. I went to a really late showing.
Oh, wow.
It was around like, yeah, I like doing late night movies for horror.
Oh, I love it.
And I think I went to like a 10 p.m. showing. So when I was done with the movie, it was like probably around like 1 a.m.
Oh, damn.
Which is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you're an early bird just like me. So going to bed relatively early is like not necessarily a big deal, but it's definitely in our books.
It is. But I also love staying up late. So it's kind of like it's so bad. I barely get any sleep.
It's like what, max maybe 3 or 4 hours? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interject.
No, that's literally how it is. And I love it. It's great. But I think before getting into like the lore of the movie and everything, something that was really interesting to me is there are certain horror movies where afterwards you'll notice like people just kind of gather in the parking lot to like debrief what they just experienced.
Yes.
And Obsession was that for me. So I went and saw it with my friend Jenna. And it literally 1 a.m. in the parking lot of the AMC theater. And her and I are discussing because we're just kind of like shocked and don't even know what to say. And then everyone from the movie kind of breaks out into different groups by their cars and they're doing the exact same thing.
Oh, geez.
Which is just like, I think it shows how powerful the movie was. It was just so, I don't even know, just so like, not even terrifying. It is terrifying, but it's just, it settles into you and it just makes you want to think about it and talk about what you just experienced with the person that you just saw it with.
Yes, for sure. I remember you telling me this. I remember explicitly, like, I think even Hannah, my younger sister, and then a couple of my friends who saw the movie too, who I know are notoriously not into horror, watched the movie before I did. They gave me the same spiel that you did, which is nobody got into their car quick. Everybody was like having a conversation outside, be it amongst their own group, sometimes as a whole group eventually. Like the traction that this movie got was insane. And I mean, box office wise, I think it made nearly $450 million worldwide, which is insane. Because I mean, you saw the memes on TikTok and on Instagram and all different forms of social media, like be it the sound bites or the screenshots or what have you. Like this movie has so many different levels. And it's definitely like categorized as elevated horror to it if you peel back the layers, but you can also just categorize it as a psychological thriller horror.
Yes, absolutely.
So it just depends on how deep you want to get into it. And I got deep. I don't know if you did, but I got deep. Oh God. You know about the whole Simpsons story, right? With Curry Barker and everything?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, I mean, Barker had made short videos and short movies throughout YouTube, and he was like slowly starting to get traction towards them. And if you watch his older stuff, it's so humorous and hilarious that it's very interesting to see the contrast and the amount of layers that Obsession has and like how he was able to execute this. But long story short, he was looking to create like a short horror film and he wanted to essentially like figure out a way to twist an everyday occurrence into something more. And he was actually inspired by the Simpsons episode Treehouse of Horror 2, where I think Homer has, or one of the characters has, like the monkey paw. And the monkey paw makes him extremely lucky by whatever wish he asks for. Now,
Oh my
mind you,
God.
obviously that wish gets like twisted. There's I essentially very similarly to obsession, like you wish for $1 million, you get $1 million, but when you spend the $1 million, kind of like the lottery, it's cursed. So like you somehow
Yeah.
become ill or you have a very rare disease or what have you. So, and we've seen this kind of reference throughout pop culture altogether, but never really focused in the lens of romance, or I guess one-sided romance. So that's where like he threw the pitch and then they created the film and then it won the festival. And now people are still talking about the movie to this day. They're still rewatching it. Like um I it was surprising to hear how like how the movie essentially like, or not the movie, the episode essentially inspired this movie, but I didn't think it was just by happenstance.
My mind is blown right now. I cannot
Mhm.
believe that a Simpsons episode could have inspired this movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. But like hearing you talk about the episode, I haven't seen it personally, but now I'm going to go see it. I'm going to watch it after this. That's just crazy. No, I
Yeah.
can't believe that. But honestly, like, I think a good horror movie has some elements of humor in it.
Hmm.
And there were points in Obsession where like people were laughing in the theater.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, there's a connection there, like him drawing inspiration from a TV show that's a comedy, but then like putting those elements of horror into it and then turning it into something all of its own. That's really, really interesting.
Exactly. Now, mind you, like I had also seen some YouTube clips too. So the reason why I said happenstance earlier is like Barker was literally just in a room trying to figure out a script, and he had his crew with him, and they were about to do screenplay. The TV was on in the background, and the episode played by chance.
No way.
I'm serious. He was trying to figure out a way to like twist the story even more, and the monkey paw inspired the idea of the wish willow.
Oh my God. That
Yeah.
is fate. If I've ever heard of fate, that is it. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend you sitting down and just watching him. Like any of the interviews that he has, like he's still the hilarious dude that you see on his own short clips
Mhm.
in person, and he's still very authentic and true, which is very reassuring. But at the same time, the way that he explains it, it's astonishing that something so small caused such a great shift in the story.
Yeah, that's just amazing. I mean, that shows kind of how his brain works. He's such a creative person that he can draw inspiration from something like that and
Mm-hmm.
then incorporate it in the movie. That's just really cool. I had no idea about that.
Yeah. It
I
blew
love
my
that.
mind. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the Supernatural TV show. They also do the same thing with like a wishing fountain, where if you
Oh
toss a
my God,
coin.
that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's like that's why I meant like there's multiple references throughout pop culture about you being able to ask for a wish, but the wish gets twisted.
Yes. Okay, now I need to watch that too.
Yeah. Definitely recommend. I mean, I also tend to rewatch the first few seasons of Supernatural whenever I am bored and have nothing else to watch. So that's how I know it so well. Yeah. I struggle with starting new TV shows.
I mean, that's totally fair. Supernatural is amazing and it's
Mhm.
about to be spooky season, so you might as well.
True. You're not wrong. It's literally around the corner. Um, I did want to ask you this, and I
Mhm.
definitely like want to get your opinion because I don't know if you've been diving into the side of social media that I have. I'm sure like you see it from time to time, but because obsession had such a huge impact, have been trying to subcategorize it, kind of like with elevated horror. So if you were to
Oh.
sit back and try to subcategorize it, what do you think it would be?
Oh gosh, that's hard. I almost feel like Man, there's a sense of like uncanny valley in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost want to put it into that category, even though maybe that doesn't describe the entire movie. But it reminds me a lot of like Backrooms. Like they're both just so unique and they have that uncanny valley aspect to them that I almost would say they would be in the same category. I just don't know necessarily what category that would be.
Yeah.
Because it's not a found footage. It's not a, there is a psychological element and like a mystical element with the One Wish Willow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just such a maybe like a psychological horror. Maybe that would be the best like general description I could give it.
Okay. And you're not wrong. I would definitely label it as psychological horror. I don't know if you've been seeing this term being swung around, but a lot of people are calling it incel horror. But it's
No,
not
I
for the
haven't.
reasons that you might think. Yeah. So I'm sure you already know where the term incel comes from.
Yes.
So, hey, some people don't know. So have you seen Companion?
I have. Yes, I love that one.
Okay. And there's also You, the TV show
Yes.
series and everything. And these movies are there's more out there, but these movies are the most well known, so that's why I'm in like shows, right? That's why I'm name dropping them. Now consider the overall theme. Now, mind you, the actor for what is it, Nikki? She said that she referenced not only Pearl, but she also referenced the actress for Companion for certain like scenes and moments and cadences and deliveries that she had.
Oh, interesting.
So a lot of reasons why people are calling this genre, and they're also including Backrooms into this subgenre as well as incel horror, is because the true horror behind the movie isn't necessarily what Nikki's doing or what's wrong with Nikki. It's what the audience seems to allow to excuse on behalf of the main male character.
Yes. Okay. You got me right there. I completely agree with that.
Because if you think about it, and mind you, I started spiraling after seeing that, because on surface level it was like, oh well, okay, Companion and what Obsession, it's main male characters who can't seem to get that lucky with women.
Yes.
Right.
To put it
Obviously.
frankly.
Yeah. I mean, Companion, it's a whole like life partner robot, what have you, with all the benefits and then some, and then we come to find like the plot twist of it all. um Then there's Obsession, but it's just Bear, who seems to have what should be a quote unquote harmless crush, but that's definitely not the case.
No.
And obviously, like he just he we're excusing a lot of the things that he does.
I completely agree with you. And I think the biggest clue into that is his name itself, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Like it literally references, the idea or the saying of, as a woman, if you were alone in the forest, would you rather be alone with a bear or a man?
Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting that they picked that name from him because, I mean, even from the beginning, they try to make it out as he's just a good guy, he's just a good guy who has a crush. And the red flags are there from the start with his cat and everything. And I think it is interesting how some people are debating about whether or not, he's just a good guy that something bad happened to, or him being the real villain all along, which is what I believe.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I like how the differing kind of opinions on that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I will say I've seen like all people also argue where they're just kind of saying like it's neither of those. It's the idea of like how love can get twisted, where you're forcing somebody to change to the idea that you have in your head versus loving them for the person that they are whenever you first get into the relationship with them. And I feel like that's also a subliminal message to a certain degree because of the amount of times that Bear is asking for Nikki to just be Nikki. However, when we get to that point, there's been so many signs and so many times that Nikki has reached out to Bear, be it blatantly or otherwise, to help her, that he's willingly or unconsciously turned a blind eye towards, and it just doesn't settle well.
No, it doesn't. I think you put that perfectly. And that's interesting. I do agree with that kind of viewpoint too. And maybe it's like a combination of three, of those three kind of ideas. And I mean, I don't know. The first time I saw the movie, I obviously saw Bear as the villain at the very end. And then watching it a second time from the beginning, I was like, I feel like I missed a couple of these things where like, I don't find Bear likable at all.
Yeah.
I don't find him charming like I did in the beginning of the first movie. And maybe that's because rewatching it again, I already know the things that he's going to do later on that reveal his character. But I was just like, I'm just getting the ick from this man the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, gross. Like, what did I even see in him in the beginning as a good guy? Like, he was never a good guy.
Exactly. That's why I definitely harp in on the horrifying part of the story is what the audience is willing to excuse on behalf of Bear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that.
Because don't get me wrong, Nikki contorts and talks and conducts herself in ways that's terrifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been on the edge of my seat for a movie in theaters for horror like this since Hereditary, if I'm being like fully transparent.
Yeah.
And she does an incredible job of like facial control, body control. And I'm sure there's like special effects and layerings and so on and so forth, but still like the actress clearly knows what she's doing. And you do feel that sense of eeriness and that sense of like just feeling very unsettled, but it's not just Nikki, or at least not for me, not the first time. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And it wasn't until the scene right after the restaurant where I realized Bear is the villain.
Wow. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I honestly think that this actress, I haven't seen her in anything before this. I know she's done maybe a couple things, but she's going to go places because like you said, like the way she contorts her face, it's also a combination of the makeup, but at the end of the day, like she's an incredible actress.
Yeah.
And she gives you that unsettled feeling with, literally just walking backwards. If you think about it, like it's just insane. Like I'm excited to see where she goes in horror from this. I hope she does maybe a couple other movies in the genre. But she also has that funny, just charming side to her that she could do a rom-com or whatever. But no, I agree. She's a really, really phenomenal actress. And I'm just excited to see kind of where she goes. And I think that's interesting. So for you, the point in which you saw Bear as the villain was after the restaurant scene, you said?
Yeah, where they're both in the bedroom. Bear is clearly on top of Nikki, and they're in the midst of sex, and Nikki sounds like she's enjoying herself, but she's stiff as a board.
Yes.
And Bear just seems like enraptured by the fact that he's in bed with her. That's it.
Oh my God, I have chills right now. You just brought me back to that scene. And I remember being in the theater, seeing it for the first time, being like, oh my God, like this is insane.
Yeah. What made it click for me then is because when Nikki has the iconic no, no, no scene in the restaurant, and it's very public and it's very loud, you see Bear be uncomfortable and afraid. And I feel like that's when the wheels are genuinely like clicking and those rose-colored glasses are coming off where he realizes that this Nikki in front of him after the wish has been granted is not the Nikki that he genuinely desired. But still, later on, an hour, 30 minutes, however long later, decides to go at it.
Yeah.
And she's clearly not showing any physical signs of enjoying it other than her voice.
Yeah. No, that scene was tough to get through. That's not a
It's
an
not.
easy scene to watch.
No. I know, and I said this with MJ, whenever we were talking about it on our own episode. I do not plan on watching that scene directly ever again. Because it's not comfortable whatsoever. Not just like as a woman, it's just overall the concept of it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I did not like Bear after that. I started noticing so many different things that Nikki was doing to try and reach out, or I guess real Nikki, quote unquote, right? But at the same time, like the hatred that I had for this man, and when Sarah, Bear, and Nikki's friend, the girl who confessed her feelings to Bear, was doing it, I was screaming and mentally like, girl, what the fuck are you doing? He's a piece of shit. What?
Oh, no, I know. It made me, and her death scene was just awful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, because they're in the car together, you know, it's later in the movie, and she's basically confessing her feelings to him, you know, saying, I was on your left. And I was feeling a couple different things. I was upset with her because I was like, you're professing your love to this man who, little do you know, has another woman that he's basically wished into being obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And I was also expecting for her to die. I was like, there's no way Nikki's not going to wake up, you know, and find them and then end up killing her. And then I was also just like mentally screaming in my head, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You to Bear, because he was obsessed with Nikki and made this wish and is in a relationship with her. And then all of a sudden another girl, you know, is kind of flirting with him, and he's flirting back, and he's basically emotionally cheating on Nikki when he's already trapped her in her own body.
Yeah.
I was like, how manipulative and can you be? And I think that shows even more that he's not a good guy, because in the very beginning, I remember Nikki telling him, you know, I think Sarah has a crush on you. And he was like, oh no, like, I don't think about her like that or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the moment that Sarah actually says it to him, he's just like giving into it. And I'm like, dude, like, you literally trapped a woman in her own body and you're leaving in the middle of the night to emotionally cheat on her. Like, are you that insane?
Yeah. Yeah. Quite literally.
It's just crazy.
I will say this. I didn't like Bear, so I'm not trying to defend him. But for like argument's sake, he didn't know that she was going to do that until he got in the car. But then again, when somebody messages you at fucking 2 a.m. saying you up, even if it's your girl best friend, I'm sorry, you're not supposed to get out of bed and go meet up with them. Especially if Nikki is laying there. And this is, again, real Nikki peeping out saying, Bear, help me, please help me, kill me. Like, she's asleep, kill me. And she doesn't do jack shit, or he doesn't do jack shit, and walks out to go meet up with her. Yeah.
Wait, was that the scene directly before that? Wow, I just forgot about that, because I feel like there are two scenes where he sneaks out while she's sleeping.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that that was the scene before. That was also crazy. The fact that she's literally telling him, Bear, it's me. And his response, not even asking if she's okay, what it's like to be trapped in her body. He just goes, well, what's so wrong with being with me?
Yeah.
Like, it's always been about him and how he feels. And he has no empathy for this woman. And then, wow, I didn't even remember that he was sneaking out to go meet with Sarah after that.
This is post-party, by the way. Like, leading up to the scene, you have Nick, who's completing his first shift without Nikki around. I think this is when Nikki packed Bear's lunch.
Oh, no.
It's with the bad meat. Now, mind you, and I don't know if you caught this, I didn't catch this my first watch. I haven't seen the movie for a second time, unfortunately, even though it's out on streaming. But I have been seeing posts, and I've been trying to like verify things as I go along. The photos that Nikki puts in Bear's lunch for the iconic half a sandwich are Polaroid pictures. And for one of them, Nikki wrote a note on there. If you pay attention, that note says not me.
Yes.
So that's one sign. you have Nick eating the sandwich. He's talking to, I think, what was her name again? Sarah? Sarah, yeah. He's like talking to Sarah. I think he's also talking to Ian too, which, by the way, I definitely want to get into that dynamic with you in a little bit.
Oh, yes.
But he's talking to Sarah about it, and then he's eating the meat. He realizes it's bad. He goes and gets sick himself. But therein lies the question, why is it only half a sandwich? Because when Bear comes back home, you have Nikki who's standing in the same exact spot, completely soiled.
Right, yeah.
With throw up everywhere. Now, MJ and I discussed this, and we both came to the same conclusion. Bear only got one half of the sandwich. There's no way that Nikki could have not only soiled herself, but like thrown up all over herself the way that she did by not eating or drinking. So she must have eaten the other half of the sandwich to get to the state that she was in.
Oh my God. Wait, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, because it's you don't see it, but it sounds and looks fucking disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense because I remember watching that scene of him walking in on her, standing there being just covered in God knows what.
Yeah.
And I'm just like thinking to myself, if she just stood there the entire time he was gone for his shift, she wouldn't have thrown up like that. Like, she probably would have pissed herself and, soiled herself. But the throw up was just so strange and disgusting.
Yeah. So she ate the entire thing. He only had a bite, one. She's in the shower cleaning herself after he's finally come home. Now, mind you, she's constantly telling him, don't worry, I'll clean up the mess that I made. I don't know how he navigates to the door because I figure everything's smeared all over the floor.
Oh, God.
But the conversation that he had with Ian and Sarah was that he was supposed to go to the party, but he was supposed to label it as a boys' night out to get away because Nikki is getting a little too in love, or I guess obsessed with her to the point that Bear is uncomfortable, which is an interesting play.
That is interesting. Also, side note, if my boyfriend fed me my dead cat, I'm breaking up with him
right away. I'm
calling the cops. I think he's, a demented, evil man. Like the fact that he doesn't break up with her. Like, I just don't. I think that's another thing that's interesting is his relationship with his cat. Because as someone who's a cat owner, and I love my cats to death, in the very beginning, it opens up to, the cat passing away because it got into some pills.
Yeah.
And he puts it in a trash bag. Like, that is the first red flag that this man is evil. What person puts their animal that they supposedly care about in a trash bag? And then she messes with the cat before the lunchbox scene. Like, she makes a memorial display or whatever to, cheer him up. That should have been his first sign this girl's crazy.
Yep.
And then actually getting fed his cat, I don't know. I have a very strong opinion about animals dying in horror movies. I think it's really unnecessary and I hate it. I recently saw another movie that I'm sure we'll talk about, Evil Dead Burn.
Yeah.
And I think there's no place for it in horror. I think it's just, I get it. I get what it's trying to show because, animals are innocent and showing them dying in horrible ways portrays the evil, and whatever they're trying to communicate. But I hate it.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's definitely overdone to a certain degree. I definitely want to dive into the theory that I've come across whenever it comes to the Bear's cat, funny enough. So we'll definitely do that, actually. But before I jump into that, I did want to just wrap up this point. I'm sorry for taking so long. It's during that conversation that Nikki essentially forces Bear to allow her to come to the party that leads to the whole kiss the person to your left and then ricochets over into the scene in the car. Yeah.
That was the most uncomfortable scene when they're in the party and Nikki literally, the silence is deafening of her getting up with that sad smile on her face. And she walks over to move Sarah and then kiss Bear in front of everyone. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was just crazy. And then Sarah seeing all of that and thinking to herself, I'm interested in this man. I'm going to, try and get with him. After seeing how crazy Nikki is in that scene, like,
Fucking wild.
I would never want to go after a man who
Nope.
I'm seeing what his girlfriend's like. It's just, and they're also in a friend group, right?
Yeah,
they're all supposed to be friends.
Yeah. They're all friends who go to the same high school, have similar classes, and work in the same music store.
Wait, so they're in, oh, that is right. They're in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why for some reason I was thinking they were older, but that's right. Because in that scene where he's eating his lunch, she was talking about her college applications not going through.
Yeah.
God, that's even crazier that they're supposed to be high school seniors going through this. Like,
yeah.
Well, then how is he living by himself at his grandmother's place?
So when you see Bear on his laptop, he's using an AI chat tool. Surprise, surprise. Where he has searches that still show up in his history. The first set of searches say how to woo a girl or how to like get a girl to notice me. The second set of searches is about oxycodone and how it's like for somebody to go and live in a nursing home. And then the next searches are something related to what's going on in the movie at the time. I don't remember exactly when he's on his computer again. I think it's whenever he's trying to look into the One Wish Willow and like, how to retract the wish. But you see the timeline from there, and they're a month each, like a month span each. So the first one's about how to woo a girl. The next one is about someone moving into a nursing home and the whole process. And then oxycodone, which is the very set of pills that kills Bear's cat at the beginning of the movie. And then after that, it's about whatever's taking place in the film at that moment. So what a lot of people have come to theorize is that Bear takes a liking to Nikki a couple months prior to when his grandma goes and moves into a nursing home to live there full time. When she's gone, he finds an addiction to oxycodone. That's why the pills are out haphazardly and his cat gets to it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never even noticed that. I think I briefly remember when he's on his laptop and that search, but I never put two and two together.
Yeah.
I always assumed he was just older, like.
Yeah.
Because the timeline, I guess you never really think about it until you dive deeper, talking about the movie the way we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting.
It would definitely be more difficult. Now, mind you, obviously, Ashley, like, we're still very much in the era of 20-some-odd-year-olds playing 18-year-olds. So you and I can mentally register and clock a 20-year-old who's speaking and presenting themselves as like 18 or almost 19, right?
Yes.
But I mean, that's how the story came to be. And I'm not one to notice those minor details in a film, at least the first time. I can a second time. Again, I've just been like diving so deep into different theories and different rabbit holes whenever it comes to this film in particular that I've now, knowing all of this, watching the movie for a second time, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to spot these kind of Easter eggs. Because I fail at Easter eggs from the very beginning. I'm so focused on what's happening right in front of me and sometimes in the background.
But that's kind of the great thing about watching horror movies is rewatching it and rediscovering things. Like I love doing that, and I love researching into movies. I haven't done like a deep dive into this one like you had. So it's really interesting hearing all the things that you've discovered, because these are things that I never really even noticed, and I've seen it 3 times.
Yeah.
So I love that. Now I want to watch it again.
So let me feed you another theory.
Ooh, I'm ready.
All right. So speaking of the One Wish Willow and everything, and you mentioned obviously the way that Bear treats his cat in the very beginning of the movie and then seems to almost like idolize her later on down the line. What a lot of people have been theorizing is this. So when Bear calls the number on the back of the One Wish Willow?
Yes.
And it seems like as if he's trying to reach customer service, but it seems to be someone's like phone number or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You have Bear and the other individual on the line exchange an interaction, and you hear Nikki screaming in the background.
Yeah.
So with the scream, obviously you know that Nikki, like real Nikki, is elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's questioning, like, is Nikki possessed? Or is she moved and placed somewhere else, like her consciousness? And if that's the case, who is in her body when she's like shifted over to a different dimension, if you will?
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. I think my first take of it was not necessarily that she was possessed,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess more so like you said, where her like consciousness was moved. My idea was like maybe like hell, like if we're being a literal sense, and that there's like a demon that's in her possessing her, some sort of like ancient kind of demon of love, so to say, or so to speak, you know?
Yeah. And funny enough, that was my first thought too. I didn't think it was like the Conjuring type of possession, right, or anything along those lines. I thought it would be definitely more poetic, just like how you mentioned. Talking about it with MJ, he did drop a bar that was relatively interesting, which was, well, what if she was actually really elsewhere because of that phone call? Like, yes, you could say that maybe Bear had a direct line to the number, and obviously, like, the wish was made, and now he's talking to like an agent of Satan, for lack of better words, right?
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, what if somebody didn't wish for the same thing that Bear did? What if it was like Ian, where he wishes for $1 million? What if it's for like the cure to whatever autoimmune disorder they have, right? So it's not as like interpersonal as Bear's. Would, if the wish benefited themselves, would they again pushed over to the side, or is it only because of Bear's wish that resulted into Nikki herself being like shifted over? But again, therein lies the question of who moved in while Nikki is pushed off to the side. And a lot of people think that it's probably Bear's cat.
Really?
Yeah, because you have him throwing her out in the trash bag, like how you mentioned, and just like how you noted, no true cat owner would genuinely throw their pet away like that, especially if they live with them for as long as Bear claims he has.
Yeah.
They wouldn't express that sense of carelessness whenever it comes to their medication unless they're clearly abusing it. And based off of like the laptop searches and everything, Bear was abusing it. And then there's also the fact that shortly after the wish has been granted by the One Wish Willow, Nikki seems obsessed with Bear's dead cat, creates the memorial, or you could also say it's an altar to her previous body, then forces herself and Nick to consume her previous body, and is the reason why during that one night scene, Nikki is shoved up in a corner at night watching Bear sleep. Because I guess some cats who really like their owners do that. I don't own a cat. I figure you can speak on that. And that's why Nikki constantly says, she's not me. She's not here. Talking about whoever takes over her to be as obsessed with Bear as she is, as like somebody else entirely.
That's really interesting. I don't think I've seen that theory anywhere.
Really?
No, I haven't. It makes sense in some ways. I will say that. Personally, with my cats, they're usually curled up. They have to like lay on me every day.
That's cute.
So they're normally not like in a corner watching me. But that would be like something to say on her weird movements and stuff. Because when my cats get the zoomies, they're like moving really weird ways. They're making weird noises. Like there could be like some correlation in that when she was like walking backwards and just like hiding in the shadows and those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really interesting theory. So then I want to know what you think, like taking that theory at the very end of the movie when whatever's possessing Nikki, if it's the cat or, whatever, when she breaks the one wish Willow and she wishes, I don't remember exactly if it's, Bear to be obsessed with her or whatever. And he comes out of the bathroom after taking the pills. And for that split second, he's just as obsessed with her as she is with him. What do you think, taking the cat theory, what do you think entered into his body in that moment?
That's where the theory slips through, in my opinion. Because I see where it was going and I understood it. But at the same time, I didn't think it fully made sense because I just feel like in my personal perspective, I feel like the one wish Willow, if it's used the way that Nikki and Bear did, it splits your personality to where you have your genuine self pre-wish and then you have your post-wish self. And your pre-wish self gets locked away, for lack of better words, for your post-wish self to follow through with certain actions. There are times where like the two personalities blend and overlap, but it's just a matter of what takes priority in that moment or what supersedes in strength in that moment.
Okay, see, I really like that because I agree. I think the cat theory has some merits, but then when you think about the ending, it does slip through.
Yeah.
But that kind of like split personality and then, your true self being locked away and then sometimes being able to break through. I really like that theory. I think that's a really good kind of interpretation of what's happening to Nikki and then what happens to Bear at the end before, the pills that he had taken ends up killing himself.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't sad when he died. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I wasn't either. I was sad for Nikki because she's just poor baby's traumatized and gone through a million and one things. She killed Sarah, Ian's dead, Bear's dead, and she's just sitting there not knowing what to do and finally being conscious again. Like, I felt bad for her. I could care less, about Bear.
I know. I wonder if they're ever going to do what they did with Ready or Not, how they made a second movie that immediately picked up from where Obsession leaves off. But I also like the ambiguity of it, of like not knowing how it all turned out or will turn out really.
Yeah, I would be interested. I have seen some talks. I think it was an interview the director did where he really wants to do a TV show and each episode is a different wish because as he was explaining it, like with Ian, like the wish itself, the one wish Willow is not necessarily evil. It's the wish that you make.
Yeah.
And he wants to explore, each episode is a different wish. Maybe it's a good one, a bad one, a neutral one. And I think that would be something really cool to see. I would love to kind of go into the universe more in that way rather than a continuation of what happens to Nikki afterwards, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's just so much you could do with that. I want to see, like maybe not the literal, I wish for $1 million, but I wish I could travel around the world. Like, what does that look like? Those kind of things.
Yeah. It would be really
interesting.
It would. Yeah. Is it literally? Is it like metaphorically? Are there consequences to even the good ones or the neutral ones? Like,
right. Yeah. Because where did the $1 million come from?
Mm-hmm. It seemed like
if it's inherent.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just saying if it's inherently good, you know, and he didn't die from his wish, he died because Nikki ended up killing him, then where'd the money come from? Like, what are the consequences of him getting $1 million?
Exactly. Where did it come from? How did it fall? Why is it falling from what is perceived to be the ceiling or the sky?
Yeah. It's really interesting. I love talking about all that kind of stuff.
I did want to ask you this. And you and I were starting to talk about it off air before we started recording. But obviously we have Barker, who created Obsessions, and then we have Backrooms as well, a movie that you've referenced a few times, and so have I, that released in close succession of each other. Now, I don't know the director of Backrooms, but you and I both know the lore behind the movie and everything, and how the director for the movie created a lot of the short films that existed on YouTube.
Yes.
Do you think this will be another Jordan Peele and Ari Aster situation just in today's day and age?
I think there's a good possibility of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what I loved about those two movies being released right around the same time, like you mentioned, is the perspective that they bring to horror itself. I think that they were both just such refreshing new takes on horror. Backrooms is based off a lore that I was familiar with since pretty much like middle school, I think is when I was introduced to kind of the video game.
Yeah.
And I used to watch Markiplier play it and all these other gamer YouTubers. And they're just both such incredible movies with cinematography and just really strong new actors that you're not familiar with already, which I think is also really good to see in horror. And I think there are certain directors in horror that you just instantly can sense that they just bring something new to the table. And for me, both of these directors are doing that. They're bringing something new to horror and changing the kind of industry itself, because I feel like horror doesn't get a very good rep sometimes. I feel like people think of it as just gory scenes and, there's not a lot of substance to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of horror movies don't even win awards, the category isn't even kind of recognized compared to historical fiction or like big name movies like The Odyssey that just came out.
Yeah.
And my hope is that these new directors that are coming into the scene and kind of changing things, I hope that horror starts getting the kind of, I don't even know how to say it, just the recognition that it deserves.
Yeah.
Especially with other, like Jordan Peele and all of these just really incredible, just creative people. I just want to continue seeing that in the industry itself.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only movie that did get any sort of award that was branded as horror. Now, I didn't necessarily see it as horror. I saw it as like historic supernatural type of movie, was Sinners.
I still need to see that, actually.
Really?
I know. I don't know why I haven't yet, because I love the actors in it. I know, I kind of know about the story already because of people just telling me.
Yeah.
And I just haven't gotten around to it, but I need to.
I definitely recommend it. I know it was, I think, on HBO or some form of streaming service for a while. It could still be on there too. Actually, the director making the movie, I think, was fresh out of high school or just barely into college.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
That's crazy. See, all these new like faces in the industry, I'm telling you, like they just bring something so unique to the table. I love that. I really need to watch it because I love Michael B. Jordan. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
And I know it's about like kind of vampires, kind of that kind of part of horror. So I need to watch it.
Yes, for sure. But to just wrap up this episode, just I know you and I will talk about all different kinds of movies for all day long.
I know we will.
I definitely want to ask you this question though. What would you rate this movie out of 10 for you?
Ooh, okay. For me personally, I want to give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think it hits all of the marks that I'm looking for in a horror movie. It has the cinematography. The soundtrack was incredible.
Yeah.
It was a very indie-based soundtrack. A lot of songs that I listened to. The actors were great. The plot twist got me. Like, I didn't expect anything. So I think a 9 out of 10 would be what I give it.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the same boat with you. I definitely think it was a really good movie, a 9 out of 10. It definitely took an approach to a topic that no one captured as, and I'm very surprised that I'm going to use this word, elegantly, as it was with this movie in particular. So I definitely give this movie a 9 out of 10 as well. I'm very excited to see what else Barker has in store along with Indy. That's Nikki's actress, by the way. She's been blowing up like crazy. So it's been fun to see her just kind of go on different talk shows and like do a bunch of interviews. And her personality seems to be winning a lot of the people over and keeping the movie as relevant as it is for as long as it has been. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk more about it as more things drop with you.
I am too.
Yeah. But without further ado, this is it. Guys, let me know if you would like more episodes with Ashley. I definitely enjoy talking with her about horror. I mean, off air, we constantly talk about it all the time too. So if you're interested in more conversations like these, just let me know. But we'll talk to you next time.